Shalom, brothers and sisters, shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, is brought to you from Danite Publications. And what we, brothers and sisters, intend to do in this is to go over the matter, if we will, brothers and sisters, concerning forsaking the foolish and live. All right? That is the point in this particular matter, brothers and sisters. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. We do not say we know everything, brothers and sisters, but we do hope and pray that we are eligible to be rebuked in loving kindness, to be shown where we are incorrect, brothers and sisters. And that too is part of this particular presentation that we are bringing to you from Danite Publications. This is on the channel Mora Yeshaya Torah Lessons, as well as Mora Yeshaya Old Testament, as well as the Facebook page Yeshaya Author Danites. That, brothers and sisters, is something that I recently started doing and putting it on a Facebook Live as well. But brothers and sisters, this is not a matter of a PowerPoint. So you won't see the PowerPoint in this case. But what you do see, brothers and sisters, upon the screen, if you will, what you do see, brothers and sisters, is a flyer regarding a future presentation. And that future presentation is scheduled for Wednesday, December 6th, if you will. And that is regarding the matter of Hanukkah or Hanukkah, brothers and sisters, in this particular case. So, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, again, in the spirit of loving kindness, we're hoping and praying that everybody is well and will be better. If I can be heard well, and if people are in good spirits, we ask you to type in the number 4. If I can be heard well, and people are in good spirits, we ask you to type in the number 4. Thank you for that. So, brothers and sisters, in this particular manner, again, hoping and praying that everybody as well, we're asking you to get your pens, your pads, your paper, and to take notes, if you will. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. All right? This here we see is Hanukkah. Mora Yeshaya History Lessons. Join Danite Publications as we read the history of Hanukkah. Come and hear the true story of what happened between the Hebrews and the Greeks after the timing of Alexander. The scene is in Judea, and the Hebrews are victorious. Have your Bibles and Apocryphas with you. Date December 6, 2023. December 6th, which is a swing called Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brothers and sisters, how's everybody doing in the chat? We hoping again and praying that everybody is well. Said that often because we want to spread good vibes, if you will. One of the things, if you will, when Joseph had re-met his brothers, one of the things that was stated is that he spoke comfortably unto them. That's very, very important, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes. Knowing how to speak to a person, knowing how to come forth to a person is very, very important. That, brothers and sisters, takes similar to what the Apocrypha says. When the Apocrypha speaks upon the matter of saying what? Learn a friend in so many words so that way you know how to deal with people, if you will. Shalom, my lady Sarai. Shalom, brother Yared. Shalom, Yirmiyahu. Shalom to everybody in the chat. This is a peculiar one, not a bad one, in that there is, brothers and sisters, no PowerPoint in this. We're going to be coming straight from the book. So I'm going to have to ask you, brothers and sisters, for you to have your book, whether it's on your phone or otherwise, whether it's in a physical book in your hand. Most of the things we'll be reading will be coming out of the scriptures in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, if you will. And let's start by reading that in this case. If anybody is willing, such as the brother, if he's available, Yirmiyahu Yisrael, to sit there and to type in the portions we'll be reading, just the actual scripture itself. Anyone? Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're going to start in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. And it reads as follows. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So what do we see, brothers and sisters? It says what? The fear, which means the Yare, or the respect of the Most High, is the beginning of knowledge. So if you want to have a beginning of something, to know something, the root and foundation is in the respect of the Most High. The Apocrypha teaches us that wisdom will not enter a soul that is subject to sin. Now, that's not to say that people who are wise never sin. What that is saying, brothers and sisters, is that a soul that is subject to sin. That means the person who doesn't have the discretion to say, let me not sin. Let me not commit that iniquity. Let me not go there, for the lack of a better term. The Hebrew word for wisdom is chakmah, which is a feminine principle. The Hebrew word for knowledge is da'at, which is a feminine principle. The Hebrew word for understanding is bina, which is a feminine principle. So, brothers and sisters, looking upon it in this particular case, taking it back to what it says here in the book of Proverbs, right? 1 verse 7. The fear of Yah, the respect of the Most High, is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. What does that mean? Instruction, being able to be instructed in a matter, being able to be told directions and so forth. Oh, can't nobody tell me nothing. That is not the way of wisdom. That is not the way of intelligence, brothers and sisters. Proverbs teaches us that a wise man will be praised according to his intelligence. So, as I was speaking with my lady earlier, that is to say that whether a person has a good light or a bad light, that light can't be hidden. Your truth will show. Your reality will show. This is why, in taking what was just stated, such as your reality will show, brothers and sisters, to take it back into what we're talking about, say in this particular matter and in this particular case. Let's look and follow, brothers and sisters. The next portion we're going to read is in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 9. Thank you for that. Again, we are on More Yeshaya Torah lessons, as well as Yeshaya Author Danite, which is the Facebook page. All right, asking people to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We are in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 9, and it says this: fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. Let's look at that. Fools make a mock of sin. Me and my lady was watching, and it's not to blow up nobody's name, a certain particular person online talking about, I've done this, that was violent, and I've done that, that was violent. And you can see the energy that follows these kind of individuals. You understand? What does it say here, brothers and sisters? That fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. Do you know that wicked people even favor the righteous? Because they can trust the righteous. They say, you can't trust me, but I know I can trust you. Do you know that wicked men want a righteous man for his daughter? Take the movie, for instance, Scarface. When Manolo was telling the lady that was Scarface's sister, I forgot her name in there, Gina, that is. When Manolo was telling Gina in the car that you were like one of the purest things that he knows, so he doesn't want you to be, in so many words, like him. He doesn't want a brother-in-law like himself because he knows the kind of character that he is and that he has. You understand? So these are things we care, brothers and sisters, to point out for reference purposes. All right? So it says this, reading it one more time. Fools make a mock at sin. You thought it was funny shooting the Bible. You thought it was funny making memes saying that David bought a slingshot to a sword fight, not realizing that it was the use of the slingshot that caused him to prevail. You understand? You thought it was funny making fun of someone who is less fortunate than yourself. You understand? And so forth and so on. Fools make a mock at sin. Take a movie, for instance, if you will. Diary of a Mad Black Woman, I think the name of it is. And in that situation, when the guy dragged his wife out the house, you understand? And the other lady was there, and they thought that that was going to be favored and so forth and so on. Fools make a mock at sin. You thought that that was just something in that particular case. But what you didn't realize, oh new lady, was you became like the lady dragged out because you had to handle all of that man's problems and all of that man's drama and all of that man's situations. The best way to meet somebody, brothers and sisters, is to hope that he or she is moving about in righteousness. That is one of the things I am happy personally about in my relationship, and that the relationship started clean. There was no, I'm with somebody and you with somebody, but you know, let's just sit there and blossom and then hurt those around us. No, we didn't start off like that. It didn't start dirty, brothers and sisters. So he who walks in his integrity can walk securely. You ain't got to sit there and wonder what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to come out. You don't have to worry about that, brothers and sisters, in that particular case. You understand? If you're just using this as an example, or a man, and you telling your lady that you are monogamous and she's the only lady in your life, and she happens to see, not to get too personal, while you walking down Fulton Street in Brooklyn, for those who know New York, and she's on a particular bus, you ain't got to wonder about, oh, who am I hugged up with? Who's on my arm? Because you already expounded upon and explained where your heart is at in that particular case. You understand? So people, now on the other end, and it's not to expose where, but I remember it was a holy day for us as Israelites, right? Somebody in front of the camp pulled up in a motorcycle, rah, 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 rah. Had nothing to do with anyone in the camp, brothers and sisters. And the guy on the motorcycle stopped in front of a car that was by the red light. Her face went like, oh, you know what word. Sweetheart, get out the car. Get out the such and such car. He caught his woman cheating, and it just happened to come out in front of the camp on a holy day. These people who were doing this were not into the understanding of Israel. Pulled up on a motorcycle at the red light in front of a camp, turned around and said, hey, yo, get up out the car. Get up out the such and such car. You saw Men's Society. You saw how they was talking. We ain't going to use that language. She's there looking like, but. See, that's what happens when you're not walking in your integrity. So fools make a mockery at sin. Yo, I was on the phone with such and such girl, yo. No, that's nothing respectful, because y'all can never have bakana or mikan or trust. No, batak means trust. You can never mikan bakan means to I forgot what that meant, but I know batak means trust. Let me put it correctly. Batak is the Hebrew word to trust. You don't have that bataka or that takan. That trust is not there in that particular case. You start dirty. So you want to start clean, brothers and sisters. Let all your cleanliness and your dirt out so I can sit there and see what it is. I being whoever the person is. You understand? But that's why Proverbs teaches us, he who walketh in his uprightness walks in his integrity. My lady wrote in the chat, constructive criticism and comments welcome. Thank you for that. Yes. Brothers and sisters, let us continue in this manner. We are going to now go into the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 22, where we go into this, and it says, forsake the foolish and live and go in a way of understanding. What, brothers and sisters, are we talking about in this particular case? So we can sit there and let this be known. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1, brothers and sisters, verse 22. And let the book speak upon us in this manner. And it says the following. Thank you for that. How long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? So what is this saying right there? How long will the fool hate knowledge? That is saying people who hate knowledge are fools. That could be knowledge of anything. Want to learn about animals? Study it. Want to learn Hebrew? Study it. Want to learn chemistry? Study it. There's a chemist in the house of Israel. Want to know about law, passing your bar, your LSAT? Study it. Want to know about mathematics? Study it. Whatever the subject is, brothers and sisters, as they point out, brothers and sisters, we are each other's most valuable resources. If I want to get something edited, I'm going to go to an Israelite brother or sister first. And if it flop, okay. And if it flop, okay. But you go home base first. You don't go extend it to other nations and other peoples. You start at home first to keep it among your own first. Like Proverbs teaches us, why should strangers sit with thee of the water in Proverbs chapter 5? You understand? Forsake the foolish and live and go in the way of understanding. Knowledge is how people will be known for having things to be known. I know that may sound cliche. The fool despises such, and we're going to talk about that. Thank you for the people inside the chat with the help. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1, brothers and sisters, verse 32. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. If you're a fool, just using this as an example, take the movie, if you will, New Jack City. Romeo, I think the guy name was in it. He just knew that he was going to prosper in this particular case. He just knew, brothers and sisters, that everything was just going to be all right, no matter what he was doing and how he was affecting other people. What does it say? Prosperity of a fool shall destroy them. If a person delights in folly, foolishness, that will be what will destroy him and or her or them. If you get things through a way of a fool, that's not intelligent, brothers and sisters. Do things in wisdom, if you will. Make your point be known through wisdom. Wisdom cries aloud unto you, O sons of men, says Proverbs chapter 8. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out the knowledge of devices, is what is written when Proverbs chapter 8, in which wisdom is speaking. Finding out knowledge of something is wise. Case in point, If you go to a job interview, look online in today's terminologies for the research about the job. Find out certain things about it, brothers and sisters. You understand? Learn certain things about it. So that way when you go, you can be what today is referred to as being what? Prepared. There is nothing wrong with that, brothers and sisters. All right? So let us, brothers and sisters, in this, continue in this manner. Let us go, if we will, to Proverbs chapter 8, verse 5. Thank you for that. We are in the scriptures in Proverbs chapter 8, verse 5. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Herefore I will speak excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. When you hear people saying, oh, I just can't deal with that negativity, it's equivalent to what we just read here. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. Negativity and wickedness are cousins. People who don't want that in his or her circumference is wise, brothers and sisters. Today's terminology, you might refer to it as drama. People who bring drama wherever he or she goes. That's not a good trait, brothers and sisters. That is not a good thing, brothers and sisters. Let us continue, brothers and sisters. Thank you for that, my brother Yirmiyahu, and thank you for your help, my lady Sarai. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 12, verse 23. And we're going over, as pointed out, not with a PowerPoint this time, but brothers and sisters, just for hearing purposes. Let's go to Proverbs, brothers and sisters, chapter 12, verse 23. And it says this. A prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness. So, brothers and sisters, to conceal something, to hide something, to cover something, you don't have to tell everything that you know. Take it as an Israelite, brothers and sisters. You don't have to go to the job and say, y'all the Khazars, y'all not the real Jews. You don't have to go and proclaim. All of that ain't necessary. Time and place for everything. Daniel in wisdom continued in, quote, the king's business. Nehemiah in wisdom was a politician in his day and time. Joseph in his wisdom was what you call in today's terminology a correction officer or a CO. You understand? So our people had careers, even in the ancient world, if you would. But you don't go in that kind of setting and turn people off. You got to sit there and be that light. I was talking to my lady earlier and mentioning, may he rest in peace now, Chief Naftali, and the wisdom that he expounded on to some of us younger brothers or sons to him, and as far as the age was concerned. And he said, basically, you don't go into the job and curse the people out and expect something to be good in that particular manner. You don't burn those kind of bridges. That's not intelligent, O sons of Israel. You understand? So, as men, I can speak as a man, brothers and sisters, with the time allotted. The things that you say, as we just read here in Proverbs chapter 8, right? As we have read Proverbs chapter 8, sorry. Real quick, where it says, herefore I will speak excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. Why would you not want to be somebody's verbal encourager? Why would you not want to be the person to put the battery in one's back for something that is good? Why would you want to be the person to want to, quote, tear down? You understand? Let's go on, brothers and sisters. We're going to read now in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 19. Thank you for that. Proverbs 13, verse 19. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is abomination to fools to depart from evil. Evil don't prosper nothing, brothers and sisters. Did you know that? Look at the gangster world, the criminal world. In most cases, they either dead, jail, in drugs, or snitch. That's usually how that life goes. And you're in that criminal world. You usually wind up dying for it, incarcerated for it, snitching your way out, which means that you are cut off now from those other people, or you just suffer and say the consequences of such. You understand? This is something, brothers and sisters, we care again to point out for reference purposes. You understand? It says what? Proverbs 13, verse 19. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul. So what does that mean? In the laws of the Sabbath, it says Sheshet Yamim Ta'abod Wa'asita Kol Malakteka. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. That is within the laws of the Sabbath. Proverbs chapter 12, Proverbs chapter 20, we went over before, love not sleep. Put your hand to the task and you shall have plenty of bread. Work, brothers and sisters, make things accomplished. And when it is accomplished, like, wow, I did it. It's accomplished. That's how I felt when the brother wrote a book. Like, I'm seeing it on Yeshaya Yisrael, 2016. The book Egypt Talk and Writing is out. It's been edited and upgraded since then. But you're just looking at your work like, wow, it's there. When a woman gives birth, and I have a daughter, I have seen, and there's no knock on women because I had a mommy. 3 sisters, a lady, a daughter, had a mom, so forth. I got nieces, nephews, and so forth. And even the extended family, if you understand, real cousins, fake cousins, you know what that's about. I have seen the womb after a birth. Wow, that's serious. And the love that the mother has supersedes the contractions that she experienced, supersedes the vomiting that she had to deal with in the morning, in certain cases what they call morning sickness, supersedes the stretch marks that sometimes women get from the matter with birth. It's like, I put this work into this. Afeni Shakur, may she rest in peace, when people talking about this and that. There was a meme that said, you made this, I made Tupac. And his name living on. Now he's been deceased longer than he's been alive. 27 years, he's been deceased. He only lived, may he rest in peace, to the age of 25. So you never know what kind of legacy or name one will sit there and make. I watched the video. It was one of those short things that they have on YouTube, and Tupac was on it. Oh, you're talking about violence against police, and you're talking about being violent. No, I'm talking about people reacting to the violence that's done to them. Shh, mum's the word. Brothers and sisters, productivity makes the naysayer be quiet. This is not to self-glorify on the Shabbat or any other day. Somebody pointed out Dr. Ben's book, Dr. Clark's book, Ivan Versotima's book, even though I cite Ivan Versotima and all these other people. And the only thing a brother did was to show, while in the Facebook debate, a book, Egypt Talk and Writing. Yeah, well, that book that you showed probably was, that's probably 42. I said, brother, look at the name on the Facebook page and look at the author of the book there. I wrote that. That's exactly what you just heard. Silence. See, productivity makes the naysayer be quiet. Sometimes people say it as what? Success is the best revenge. I don't have to sit there and I'm going to sit there and get you. Yeah. No. Do what you do, just like we read right here in Proverbs 13, verse 19. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul. That means the things that you want to get done, your wants, your desires, when it is there, it is sweet to the soul. But it is abomination to fools to depart from evil. So when you talk about Shubah, repentance, if you will. What are we pointing out? Do we believe in repentance? Yes, we do, brothers and sisters. True repentance is the forsaking of the foolishness even within yourself and living. Forsake the foolish and live. So you can even forsake the foolishness in your own self, whatever it may be. The Israelites that came out of Ohio, that were led, may he rest in peace, by Moray Elisha. I remember we had a conversation with other Israelites online one time. And the statement from one of them was, give Yah a chance. And that is something that struck me. Because while people are saying, we tried this and we delved into that and we into this and we going over there with that, did you ever try Yah? And when I say try, I'm talking about Shadel try, not Basa try, like temp. I'm not talking about that kind of trying. Like you're trying one's patience. I'm talking about the matter of what? Being able and having the ability to say, let me not forsake Yah in a matter. Do you know, brothers and sisters, the Most High knows matters while we think that it might not be important to him? I speak ever so often about what happened with me and my lady in DC when we thought we were stuck there with the Greyhound buses missing, and the Amtrak train that was just a little late was still on time for us to get to where we needed to get to in a good fraction of time. That's the hand of the Most High, brothers and sisters. So let us continue in this. We're going to now read, thank you for that, brothers and sisters, in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 16. Thank you. Proverbs 14, verse 16. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil. All right, let's talk about, if we may, something recently that happened. A wise man heareth and departeth from evil. You go to one of the roughest places in New York, in the Bronx. Then in the Bronx, you go to one of the roughest places in it. Early on the so-called Sunday morning, when people are preparing for their holiday timing. Know where you are. And you're talking about who you shot. You're talking about doing violence. You're talking about doing violence to somebody's parents. And somebody comes along and says, hey, I'm your fan. And you show and brandish a weapon to that person. Talking about get the such and such out of my face. Okay. So the next messenger that came wasn't a fan. You now on there talking about, I got shot. You know why? Perhaps. What did we just read in Proverbs 14:16? It says what? To bring the book to life. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil. So if you got a fan, a person who's feeling what you're talking about, recognizes you for what you're talking about, and says, hey, I'm a fan, that doesn't sit there and make you be like, wow, that should resonate within me. When the guy Umar Johnson made his statement against light-skinned black people, he had to repent from that by saying, when the albino community, for the lack of a better term, was saying, brother, you offended me in that particular case. I don't see a cracker, you understand, when I look in the mirror. I see a black man that just happened to have a different complexion. I'm your fan. I've been following you for years. Umar Johnson apologized to the albinos among our people. That's wisdom, brothers and sisters, to apologize after you commit an offense. But if you have somebody that is coming to you and praising you for your work, and you tell that person, get the such and such out of your face, the next person that came Clap. That wasn't a fan the next time. That person that came to you the next time was not feeling what you promoted out there to the people. You understand? So looking at it, brothers and sisters, this is very, very important for edification purposes. Knowing how to present yourself. When Joseph has been taught in Israel, he had 11 brothers. When he went before Pharaoh, I'm going to pick 5. Sometimes in Hashaba Yisrael, when I was a child, the congregation, they would say, which 5 do you think? Of course, everybody said Levi, because that congregation said they full of Levites. Of course, in Israel, everybody said Judah was spoken of. And of course, everybody, but we can think maybe who wasn't picked. Simeon, no. Leave him in jail. Maybe he had a issue. If Potiphar's wife moved on, this man, who would reject her? You're not standing before Pharaoh and embarrassing me. No, we're not doing that. Before the sons of Ham, the children of Israel was still supposed to shine. The pharaohs there, you know that culture. They had an Egyptian god with an erect phallus that was used in the houses of the Egyptian women when her Ish or her husband wasn't there. That's part of their culture. You read the Ebers papyrus, you see on the walls of Karnak, brothers and sisters, where Hatshepsut is shown the wife of Thutmose II running after another man. And Israel still had to show themselves to be a light in the eyes of people like that. Yes. So while in this Egypt by ships, while in this Babylon, if you will, you're still supposed to be that light. You're supposed to not blend in as a chameleon. They're supposed to wonder why you never attend maybe the Friday night parties. Why, if you do eat lunch with them, you make sure the pepperoni is not on your plate. Why do you wash your hands all the time, O sons of Dan? Because that's what, not to be racial, the white people used to say where I worked at, like, you always wash your hands. It's me, I was taught in Leviticus, I wash my hands before I eat, I do this, and I always washing my hands. I can't eat with you after this meal because you have an issue with me washing my hands and you mentioned it. This will be the last meal we will all eat together. But what does it say? The fool rages on in his confidence. So you don't want to be raging on and carrying on like that. That's not intelligent, brothers and sisters. My lady, ever so often when we speak offline, tells me it's not always having to have the last word and having to be, quote, right. I hear that ever so often throughout the course of months we've been together. People wouldn't tell you that if they don't see that light in you already. If they think that you cannot comprehend that kind of wisdom, he or she is not going to waste his or her time to try to sit there and show it to you. Did you know that? They're going to say, you don't understand, that's that, you got issues. You understand? So what do we want to point out, brothers and sisters, in going over forsake the foolish and live? This doesn't mean you live forever and ever, but it means that you're prospering as well. It means that you take wisdom and you apply it. You don't sit there and wind up being a single man because, yo, I ain't no simp. Ain't no woman gonna tell me. Okay, that's not gonna work. You don't sit there and be the woman, well, I'm the prize, so therefore I ain't gotta hear nothing I say. All right. You wind up like those old maids, which is not good. You understand? As a man, you wind up just hanging with your homies, as you did when you was younger. I saw the Netflix thing about me, they rest in peace, Biggie Smalls and Tupac, called Unsolved. And there was a guy in there in the Netflix series. He had the tattoo showing that he was part of what they call the South Side Crips of Compton or so. And he said, oh, this guy here is a Crip member. And he said, not anymore. He just happened to happen to have the tattoo attached. But he said, not anymore. Says it's time to grow up. Do you know Tookie Williams, who helped start that after Raymond Washington got books out? He's been incarcerated since 1981. He was put to death in 2005. And he has books out. I want to state this again. Tookie Stanley Williams from Louisiana was incarcerated since 1981. Was put to death in 2005 and has books out. So why do Israelites wonder about getting a book out? Brothers and sisters, the next portion we're going to read, if we will, is in Proverbs 15, verse 2. And here's what it says. Thank you for that, family. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. So if you wanted to know, for the lack of a better term, what is a fool, who is a fool, when you speak, it will show. Brothers and sisters, as we read in Proverbs 15, verse 2, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright. Know how to, brothers and sisters, present your case. Learn it. Take classes on it, if you will. All right? There's nothing wrong with that for reference and edification purposes. But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. How can we tell what is foolish? It's not profitable. It's fluff. It's nothing that you can sit there and put in today's terms, quote, take to the bank, as the saying goes. You understand? You can have knowledge. But Proverbs is telling us, it says what, brothers and sisters? The tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright. How can we apply that to what we're talking about in reality and in these days and times? Shalom, my brother, Mazatia. How can we point that out? You would not bring to use it as an Israelite history, right? Somebody like Solomon coming from the royalty, sheltered by his mom to a certain extent, into the land where the prophets went to, like Gilgal and Bethel, where the prophet Amos said, go over there and commit iniquity. Then after that, you can go to that city and do wickedness. You wouldn't want that kind of person in that. To put it in other terms, you probably wouldn't want the nerd to sit there and go through what they showed in the movie Training Day, the jungle where all the Bloods is at. See, you can't read as an Israelite the wars between Jeroboam and Rehoboam, and then later on Jeroboam and the son of the other king, and then sit there and what? You're talking about gangs. That's what was back then. When they said, are you from Ephraim or not? Say Shibboleth. And they said Siboleth. Israel used that as a way, like in Chicago, if your hat is turned this way, that's this set. And if your hat is turned that way, that means this game. You don't think they did that in that kind of ancient days? They could tell where you're from by how you talk, how you say a certain thing. And if you said it not according to them, you got fallen upon. Similar premise. It's in Judges chapter 12 in the Bible. This is not something we're making up. So you wouldn't set somebody, say, from the royalty to try to quell that kind of drama. You understand? You wouldn't do that. You would send somebody like Isaiah the prophet, who said, I am of unclean lips, in the midst of people of unclean lips. You're perfect for the job because you understand the what? The heart of the people. It's not something like, I'm a fish out of water. I don't know what to say or do. In this case, you understand. So this is something that we want to point out. My lady typed in, they do that in Jamaica. According to the patois spoken, they know what parish you're from. So just like you read in Judges 12, taught out for that, my lady, and just like you sit there and see the shibboleth and ciboleth and that cliquish kind of thing, you got to know what kind of people to bring in that case. You bring your professionals over there and these other kind over here. In that song brought out by the Wu-Tang Clan, it says, punks in the back, warriors on the right, soldiers on the left, or some kind of saying like that. You understand? And quote clan in the front. Let your feet stomp. Such and such on the left. We're going to keep the language clean. And the punks in the back. Y'all stay back there kind of spirit. So brothers and sisters, it's about doing things in, say, wisdom in this particular case. The mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. I remember, and I spoke with my lady about this not too long ago. Who do you reach out in a particular matter, in a particular subject? If a lady has no children, she is not qualified to sit there and talk about contractions. Like the brother Mekubaya, Chief Meku, who played the drums, and I always respect him for it because it motivates me to teach in the congregation DCB. He pointed out one time, you wouldn't bring the historian into a situation of financial matters. If you are in a relationship and looking for a wedding and marriage, you don't go to the person who has 2, 3, 4, 5 divorces. No. Tell me what not to do, if anything. But when you can go and see your friends, co-workers, associates, and everything else online, 20, 30 year plus marriages, that's who you want to ask. How did you do that? That's the people that you go to, Abraham, your father, and to Sarah, that boy you who didn't have a divorce. Look to the rock you was hewn and to the hole of the pit from which you was dug. Look into Abraham, your father, and to Sarah, that boy you. So Israel, we're not misogynistic. We don't sit there and show pictures of a man's phallus and a woman's vulva saying the vulva means nothing, but without the phallus to sit there and enter it, that's how you get life. Because you need both for life. Because the nocturnal emission don't make life when he has what you call it today, germ, a wet dream. And don't sit there and what you talk about this on the Shabbat, because Deuteronomy 23 talks about a chance by night. So we're talking life and making the book, bring it out to existence. This is not a religious book. Do you know there is no Hebrew word for religion? Show me that. I'll wait. And it's not to sound arrogant as a Hebrew teacher. There is no Hebrew word for religion. The closest they try to say is the word dot. But the word dot don't mean religion. The word dot, dalitao, brothers and sisters, means decree, not religion. So again, there's no Hebrew word for religion. So when we talk about the Old Testament, for the lack of a better term, we're talking real life matters. Learn from this kind of subject. Most parents, not all, who bury their children, like my uncle buried my cousin, not to get too personal, like King David buried some of his sons, be that instruction. Be that instruction. Make sure you're that instruction to perhaps prevent that. We're not talking about car crash or so forth and so on. We're talking about not telling them, forsake the foolish and live, and go in a way of understanding. You understand? Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 16, talks about how having too many children may not be profitable because you can't sit there and control and function and all of that. If you wise, you what? Wise for yourself. If you scorn, you what? You alone shall bear it. Everything that you can do doesn't mean that you have to do. I'm going to do polygyny because, well, I can. That may not be for you. I'm going to eat this because, well, it doesn't say not to eat it. You, in your situations or so, just might need a plant-based diet. You might need less meat. You might need less sugar. You might need more sugar. You might need more protein. Know yourself. If you wise for yourself. Don't do it because he or she did it. You understand? So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to point out for reference purposes. Let's continue, if you will. Thank you for that. Let's go to Proverbs 15, verse 14, if we will. All right? Proverbs 15, verse 14. And it says this: the heart of him that has understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. The heart of him that has understanding seeketh knowledge. You so clingy. No, you knowledgeable. That's why I'm there. We're out the door of the wise man. What does it say? We're out the door of the wise man. Don't sit there and know that there's wisdom there. Well, I don't want to offend. No, your light shine. I'm coming to it. I respect your space. I respect your privacy. You are grown up. You are your own person. But I'm going to be texting you because you got that knowledge. I'm going to be calling you because you got that knowledge. I'm going to inbox you because you got that knowledge. I'm going to email you because you got that knowledge. I'm going to subscribe to the channel because you got that knowledge. See, your light, you can't try to dim it. What did the Most High say to Jeremiah? I believe it's either Jeremiah or Ezekiel. I believe it was Jeremiah. The statement is, be not abashed at them. Be not dismayed at them, least I dismay you before you. But the statement is, be not dismayed at the people, least I dismay you before the people. So your light, don't sit there and be like, oh, I gotta. No. I already created mice. You a man. You a woman. Raise your voice like a trumpet, O Lion of Judah. Raise your voice like a trumpet, ye Gadites who have the appearance of lioness. Don't sit there and be like, I just said, no. And you'll be surprised when you stand up and respect and understanding how many people say, he or she said what I always wanted to say. But you do it in wisdom and in timing, brothers and sisters. There's a time and a place and a way to do every single thing. Case in point, prophet, man of God. The king says, come down here. I believe it was Elijah. He said, if I'm a man of God, may lightning strike from heaven and consume you and your 50. And the king sent more notable people than the first that got struck down. Man of God, the king says for you to come hither. If I'm a man of God, may lightning strike down you and your 50. And then the next set that came after that second crew got struck down was, man of God, if I found favor in thy sight, I beseech thee. The king requesteth thee. Okay, let's go see the king. King, you're wicked. The point in that and bringing that out is knowing how to approach the situation and knowing how to approach people. There are certain people who just need to be taught in that particular case. There is a way on how to approach a particular situation. And if you happen to be a person still in learning for it, don't be abashed. Don't feel ridiculed, because this book is going to outlive everybody in this chat. So it's for generation to generation. See, we don't conjure up the dead like me and my lady was talking about. We leave things on record so that way the future generations, not that after we did our mission in life and rested with our ancestors, you come and bother us talking about I'm in trouble. I need help. You understand? Don't do what Saul did with Samuel, essentially. Let's go, brothers and sisters, to Proverbs chapter 15, verse 2, yet again, and pointed out the correlation. The tongue of the wise use of knowledge are right, but the mouth of the fools pulleth out foolishness. Now let's go to verse 14. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. So if it says right here, the mouth of the fools poureth out foolishness, is because the mouth of the fools feeds on foolishness. See, when you forsake the foolish and live, certain things just don't make any sense. Laziness is a form of foolery. You know, most people talking about doing a robbery, don't work. Real talk. When you got things and being productive, when you work in the 6 working days that Exodus talks about, you don't have time to even conjure up wickedness. You don't have that much time to even sit there and let it marinate and, as I say, rent space in your head for free. It don't even sit there and it's like, what? No, I'm not doing something like that. What, were you stupid? No, this is not the mission we on. Let's use the movie Malcolm X. When Spike Lee playing Shorty, he told Denzel playing Malcolm, let's go around the corner, you know what? No, 8 years. 8? Yeah, 8. I ain't got no time to go back and regress to what I left from 8 years ago. I'm not going around the corner, and I'm still not going to offend you, my brother. Because you got to meet people where they at. In that, he didn't offend his friend Shorty. He knew why you would come to him with that, because that's what we used to do. We used to go around the corner, sniff, sniff. But I don't do that no more. You understand? So that's something to point out for reference purposes. It says what? The mouth of foolishness, the mouth of the fools feedeth on foolishness. When you change for the better, they who are fools forsake you. Just like it says here, forsake the foolish and live. I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. I don't believe in who they say, Yeshua HaMashiach as Adon and Moshiach, any language you put it. When Adina Howard went to that song, A Freak Like Me, and gave it up for her term as the Bible, her fan base dropped. When she wasn't singing, she went a freak in the morning and a freak in the evening, just like me, and getting thousands upon thousands of views. When she changed her style from that, they who are still in the doghouse, thirsty, pitting all after one woman, not considering, hold on, how she knows she does that, quote, good? Because you're the 3rd and 2nd and 4th. You're the 5th, 6th, 8th, and 9th. You're like the Liz Teller, the 3rd husband and the 7th husband. See, in Torah, it says your wisdom is in it. The priesthood of Israel is not to marry a certain caliber of woman. He has to have a certain kind of pedigree for himself. The level that the Most High even has of himself. Take off your shoes. This is holy ground. When I go and see my lady in her house, take your shoes off. When I used to go chill with my uncle, take your shoes off. You've been walking out there all over Fulton Street, all over Broadway, all over 5th Avenue. I've been on 42nd Street and Broadway. I know what they do. Take them shoes off and carry it to the carpet over here for such. In the old congregation, which I wasn't a part of because it was before my birth, and even after my birth, I was in a different one. It was called Hashaba Yisrael. They used to have, to the peers that tell me, they used to have a carpet that no one was allowed to step on in that case. The camp I did come up in, brothers and sisters, to show rank and file and order, the Morey, may he rest in peace, had everybody's shoe size taken, and there was a whole bunch of shoes that was bought just for that particular part in that sanctuary, if you will. When you go into your mother and father's room, even though you more than likely might have been conceived inside in there, you got to ask permission before you go and slip in that bed. Am I lying, children? You got to ask. You probably was conceived inside in that same bed, for all we know, not to get too out there. But you still rank and file. Ask permission for such. That's intelligent. You want a positive answer? Know how to come to people, even your mother and your father, is the point in this particular matter in saying this. Knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to get things addressed. There is a way how to write a business proposal letter. There's a way to do a resume. There's a way, brothers and sisters, that you do before you get your associate's degree, your final paper for such. If you want a grant, there's a way to write it for such. When you're putting a book together, there is a way for such. And when you do a presentation, there was a way for such. That's why you don't find F-bombs and all kinds of things. I want somebody to have this listen to a daughter maybe younger than mine, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so forth and so on. But brothers and sisters, the point to be made is about in part repentance and changing and so forth for the better. When brothers and sisters, to take the music industry, don't know her government or real name, but the lady Salt from Salt and Pepper decided that it was not a good idea to be promoting the thing that Pepper still was trying to promote. I can't do that no more. That's not me. I've changed. You understand? And you can see who has love for you because they'll say that you changed for the better. That's a good thing. Brothers and sisters, if I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. I apologize to the family because I usually don't go over an hour, and I see on the time that I just did. But we want to continue in this particular case. We ask you to comment, like, share, subscribe, and give constructive criticism. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 9. Brothers and sisters, if we will. We are in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 9. And it says this: speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. So how do we know what a fool is? Let us go to Proverbs chapter 9, verse 6. Keep your hand there if you want, and Proverbs 23, verse 9. And let's go to Proverbs chapter 9, verse 6. And it says this: forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. He that reproves a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. Teach a just man, meaning a man that's righteous, and he will increase in learning. So can we say that learning is in part of being righteous? See, being teachable, more, being teachable, talmid, being teachable, mora, being teachable, talmida, being teachable, menahel, being teachable, menahela, being teachable, anyone. Those words, more, teacher, talmid, student, menahel, leader, right? Male and female alike. Being teachable is a form of righteousness. You know what happens at the jobs in certain cases? They ask you, well, if the manager you know is doing something that's not the best idea, but it's not a crime, do you sit there and tell the manager that? The expected answer is no, just let the manager make a fool of himself. See, that is what Proverbs is talking about. They expect maybe the manager to be a wicked one, to where if you go to correct him or her in discretion to not make him or her feel embarrassed in front of others, there's a way to do things, a timing to do things, and how to do things. They expected perhaps to have it to where they can't stand to be told something. So in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 9, where it says what? Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise your words. Brothers and sisters, when we go again in Proverbs chapter 9 to let the book speak for itself, how do we know such as a fool? It will tell you here, Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. So let us not, brothers and sisters, sit there, believe, say, or think, oh, I can't be taught. You can't pick your teachers. So to say that a woman cannot teach is incorrect, brothers and sisters. Because we all, as men, come to our women, come to our sisters with Proverbs 31. And what you learned from what the woman speaking of Proverbs 31 says. So the fact that we all as men have learned from the woman in Proverbs 31 speaking means that a woman can teach. So that's how you can tell the difference in part. It says what? He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame. You can't sit there and tell me because of that. Like, whoa, my bad. I won't do that again. And Proverbs, brothers and sisters, 14 verse 7, if we will. Proverbs 14:7 says this: go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. Go from the presence of a foolish man. Because that person has been feeding on, as we read earlier, foolishness. So only thing they spit out their mouth is foolishness. You understand? And that's not intelligent. So it's like one fool, the blind leading the blind, one fool leading the other, and so forth and so on. It tells you the characteristics of what a fool is and how not to be caught up in that. Brothers and sisters, wisdom is an abomination to a fool. It's an abomination to a fool to leave from his or her own wickedness, if you will. We, the sons of Israel, we, the children of Israel, we, the daughters of Israel, must know and understand that in Deuteronomy, when it says, this law is your wisdom and your understanding, what does it say? This law is your wisdom and your understanding. Let's read that, if we will. It wasn't part of the list I had, but let's read it before we conclude out. Deuteronomy chapter 6, if we will. I believe it's that. Or no, Deuteronomy chapter 4, sorry. Deuteronomy chapter 4, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And it says this. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Thank you for that. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Let's stop right there. It says concerning the law, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Don't tell me that the Tanakh is not telling us we're being watched. So don't worry about, well, if I go online, because you're already being watched. This is your wisdom and your understanding. Israel, we're not hermits in the sight of the nations. You are what the Pope wants to call himself, the vicar of the Most High. You are the representative ones of the Most High God on this earth. Why do you think we just as a people just can't get away with others? Because your portion is different than theirs. Not keeping Shabbat doesn't affect the white man like it does the children of Israel. Eating pork doesn't affect Hamites like it does the children of Israel. Eating blood doesn't affect the people of the Agars or the Savas, if I'm mispronouncing the tribe, correct me wrong, than it was Beit Yisrael. You're severed or separated from the peoples. You are the Am Segula, the set apart, the peculiar people. You're different, brothers and sisters. So we're supposed to sit there and be different. Case in point. There's a sister who pointed this out. She said that she went outside with a tank top. She said she went out with spandex. Mommy, come here, baby. And she said another day she went out dressed in garments. She wasn't hearing, hey, mommy, come here, baby. It was either nothing or, peace, sister, how you doing? In the sight of the nations. And we know this same as males. When you go and you present yourself, if you're going out there And it has to be said. If you're going out there acting and yes, dressing a certain way, it brings a certain energy. Why do you think the priest's garments is not supposed to be worn by just anybody, even in Israel? The average Israelite is not supposed to wear the priestly garments you read of in Exodus, because that's set for a certain person. But you are still supposed to be set aside, like my lady wrote in the thing. Thank you for that, love. You understand? So, brothers and sisters, the caliber and wisdom, the way we're supposed to have higher echelon, don't let those who are still in the doghouse sit there and wonder what that's about. Let's go and let the book speak for itself. Let the Torah. We read Proverbs, which is nothing wrong with that. But we're going to now go into the book of the Torah itself on the Shabbat day. And let's read it, if you will. Right? And the sister who said that was on YouTube. She said she did an experiment and sat there and said she saw the difference on how the attention, because I had a mom, got a daughter, got a lady, got 3 sisters. All women, and they understand will tell you that women want attention, but it's the timing that you get that makes the difference. You understand? That's very important. So, brothers and sisters, let's look at this, if you will. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 23. We'll be reading out of the regular King James Version for what most people have. All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17. All right. Deuteronomy 23, 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor sodomite of the sons of Israel. We pointed this out on many situations that this word whore should more so be translated as female sodomite. All right. Which you know is what? Thou should not bring the hire of a harlot or the price of a dog. What's the price of a dog? We know what a harlot is, right? It's a female that goes man, 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 man. So what do you think then if it says in a verse before that about the female sodomite and the male sodomite? So in Deuteronomy 23:18, when it speaks about the female whore, what do you think the price of the dog is? I'll wait. No, really, I'm going to wait. I'm going to mute the mic, have something to drink so you won't hear me drinking, and let's see somebody type in what they understand the price of the dog is. Because I was told not to be drinking while on live because it doesn't sit there and look off sound right. Sorry about that, family. Brothers and sisters, type in what you understand, please. What is Makir Keleb in Hebrew? Meaning the price or value of a dog. Because we know what a harlot is, because men be calling women that with other kind of terminologies. So what do you think the females call who is a whore that's not a female? She calls him a dog. So the value of a dog is a male whore. So you have it all covered, male and female alike. Israel is not of misandry, the hatred of males, or misogyny, the hatred of women. Moses said through the book of Micah, said, I set before you Miriam, Moses, and Aaron. There ain't no women leader. I gave you Miriam. Don't ever sit there and say the Most High didn't have the representative on both genders. You got an older sister, Miriam, and then you got her 2 baby brothers as leaders. Can't sit there and say, well, that was the baby sister. No, it was the older sister and then the 2 baby brothers that were leaders. You understand? So brothers and sisters, as my lady typed in, whoremonger. How does that relate in part what we talked about in Proverbs? It says, the mouth of the fool feedeth on foolishness. The mouth of the fools speaketh foolishness. So not only does it feed it, it feeds others foolishness. So the male whore deals with whores. So he's now what? The whoremonger. That is not the caliber of how the sons of Israel is supposed to be, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes. There is a status quo. There is an upliftment that is supposed to be. When Rachel gave birth, the handmaid said, fear not. No, when she gave birth to, Rachel gave birth to Benjamin, and she passed, may she rest in peace. Fear not, for this is another son for thee. How she know that? That's some serious midwife stuff. How you know that before the baby's born? There are sisters who go into that kind of work. So you see how we each other's best? And when we get back in our culture, obstetrics should be only practiced by females. Not saying a man shouldn't know it for his own wife. It's called a doula, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. But as though, brothers and sisters, another man should have to sit there and be the first one to hold your child. But because we lack those kind of things in certain cases, does be like that. Sometimes Israelite brothers simply say they rather have a female obstetrician, even if you're going through the hospital thing kind of matter. So brothers and sisters, getting back into this, it says you should not bring the hire of a whore, which is her value, right? Her hire, her value, or the price of a dog, a male whore, into the house of the Lord thy God for any vow. For even both these are an abomination unto Yah thy God. So Jeremiah talking about people repenting and changing. The other prophets talking about people repenting and changing. Whatever iniquity that you was into, you can change. Don't think so? Ask Adina Howard. Ask Salt from Salt and Pepper. Don't think so, brothers and sisters? Ask the people who were part of gangs that came into the understanding of Israel. Like one of my teachers did. I'm not going to mention his name to not get into his business. He used to roll with a gang back in the 1960s and 70s out in Brooklyn. It's one of my teachers. So, my point nonetheless, brothers and sisters, is whatever it is that one is into, what do we read? Forsake the foolish and live and go in a way of understanding. Understanding what? What life is about. I'm not here to be a preacher or a philosopher. Just talking from what a brother does understand. First off, you put the Most High first and let him guide your steps. And you'll be surprised, speaking from experience, when you're like, what's going on here? Making this move here. Check this out, what I'm sending to you. No, I'm going to keep you away from the city today because I need you to just stay just to see that. There you go. We're talking about the one who created time. Let me make this train a little late because the bus isn't there, and then you'll catch it. No, she's not the one for you. I will break that up and then cause what can be more solid and respectful to blossom. Maybe you wasn't the one for her. Maybe she wasn't the one for you. It ain't always him or always her. Maybe their spirit just wasn't for each other in that particular case. Maybe he or she is better off with someone else, and that could be someone else's blessing. Him to her or her to him. So what do we want to point out, brothers and sisters, in light of this? Let us go, if we will, to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26, as we begin to close this particular portion out. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. All right. And here is part of our portion as the house of Israel. And it says this. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, Yah, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that you should be mine. Severed you, separated you, that you shall be mine. We belong to the Most High God. That's already written, brothers and sisters, in our Constitution. And what do we read after that? A man also, or a woman that hath a familiar spirit, Ob or Obia, or that is a wizard, Mikashef, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them. So we don't need to go to wizards, warlocks, witches. We don't need to do a seance. We don't need to do the necromancy matter. We don't have to stand in front of the mirror saying, we're going to call on Mother Harriet. We ain't got to do that. That is not the portion of the children of Israel when it's already stated that we belong unto Yah Eloheinu, the Lord our God. Did you know when you look at slaverecords.com or slavevoyages.com, right? Most of the said names of the people that were captured was Asaiah, Abaya, Elisha, and most of them ended with the name Yah in their name. I remember when I took the name Yeshaya when I was 19, and I was working in a place in Long Island, right? And there was a lady there from the Igbo people, and many people already know that they claim to be Israel. And I told her what my name is. I said, well, in my culture, my belief, my understanding, my way of life, I worded it like that in wisdom. I said, my name is Yeshaya. And the lady working said, from Nigeria, from the Igbo people, said, oh, your name sounds like something with God. That resonated with me. You understand? Brothers and sisters, don't think that the people do not watch you. They watch your relationships when you post it, if you post it, if they know about it. Some who have the time try to get all into it, well, as far as they are allowed to get into. Don't think when you're like, oh, I'm getting a lot of views. Again, this is their platform and internet and YouTube. So yes, the police departments, yes, the CIA, yes, the FBI, yes, perhaps the ATF, yes, all those organizations watch and let them. Maybe you can learn something too with your trolling self. You probably went in one way and came out the other way and found out. Don't think so? You don't think those kind of things happen? I want to show brothers and sisters a book. One of the few times I may show the camera in this particular case, right? If we will. This book right here, I cite this book, Pharaohs and Kings. I cite this book sometimes. This is written by brothers and sisters David Rowe. Some people agree with his findings, some people do not. He went to Egypt years before me and my lady went, but he went to Egypt to try to disprove the Exodus. That book, he stated what he found just supported everything. See, you might have went into something with one thought and other things happened. So brothers and sisters, looking at it in this particular case, we belong to the Most High God. We as men, you know what it is when you went that time with your Isha or your wife or your lady, your significant other. And you know what it is if it looked like she ain't, quote, giving you and paying you attention. You understand? How do you feel about that as a man? So I'm thankful to the Most High for the kind of lady I have, talking about and making moves. The first thing we want to be established is where we'll be in keeping holy days to Yah. Not, oh, we can do us now. That's not the citation, not to get too personal. It's when Sukkot comes, when Shavuot comes, when Passover comes, when these holy days come, that is followed after the matter of getting a place. That's the quality of a woman you want that's going to put the Most High God in his time first. You understand? You don't want one who, well, I'm going to try to lead him away because he's so much into his thing, he don't pay attention to me. That's not told. Because if a woman loves and respects you and sees what you about and wants to support you, she's going to make herself fit into it. I was told that by my sister who is not in this way of life. You understand? If a woman is feeling and loving you, brother, and she knows you're not into something wicked, She's going to make herself be part of what you're about. You ain't got to sit there and ask, can you help? You see what it's about? Can you let it be known when it's understood? You ain't got to keep on doing that. Because if she loves and feeling you, she's going to watch you and follow you. And if she supports you, she's going to make herself a part of it. I was told that from my baby sister, if we will. Brothers and sisters. You understand? So, sisters, and again, this is not to be preachy or philosophical. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And I would tell my little one this. If he don't support nothing you about, if he don't try to find out how your day is, what's going on, he ain't feeling you. You understand? So, brothers and sisters, the brother Yirmiyahu typed in facts. Thank you for that, brother. My lady Sarai wrote in. That's why we have to surround ourselves with like-minded people in relationships as well. Yes. The Apocrypha teaches us, get a woman like your mind. Have the kind as a man, the kind of woman that is in your corner and in your circle. Whether some say backbone as a part of it or so forth, that's not the main subject. But make sure, man, get a woman like your mind. Woman, have a man like your mind. Let's go to Proverbs 31 as we begin to close out with the time allotted. Thank you, everybody in the chat, family, extended, and so forth. Proverbs 31, if we will, right? And here is what it says. We're going to go, brothers and sisters, to Proverbs 31, verse 9. It says what? Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Rubies is one of the most expensive things. Don't ask me how I know. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. Let's go, brothers and sisters, to verse 20. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. The poor and needy. We are told as men, as Israelites, in Ezekiel that we're supposed to look out for the needy as well. Proverbs 31 talks about the woman doing it, and Ezekiel 18 talks about all doing it. You understand? So whether you're part of a camp congregation or not, if you see brothers or sisters having a food pantry, like the brothers out of DCB who do it, patronize and support it. When you see Shomrei Habrit doing it, the congregation ran by the brother Mora Yiftach, support it, brothers and sisters. You can support any way, shape, form, fashion that you want to, and anyone else that is doing things that can be reached out to the people. Did you know the famous Black Panthers, that's how they started? Black Panthers at first was not carrying guns and all of that. They was carrying sandwiches and doing things inside of schools. The school I taught in, Bowman Community College, not to expose certain things. Do you know how Black people got in there? Because that school goes back to the 1950s with some of that Jim Crow stuff. Do you know how Black people got into that school? The Black Panthers chained themselves and said they're going to stay there until Black students are going to be in there and have a curriculum for such. See, these are things to be pointed out for reference purposes. And as my lady typed in, can two work together except they be agreed? No. That is why come to an agreement. Walk together. Forsake the foolish woman. The foolish woman is the woman who can't keep or have a man, and okay with her friends not having one either. Girl, be single just like me kind of spirit. Forsake the foolish. Forsake the foolish man. Yo, don't be no simp. You ain't no woman's yes man. But he going back to his Isha, and you going back to, no. What? He going back to his home, his wife. See, forsake the foolish woman. Sisters, stop listening and promoting. In part, we're going to point out that stuff with Beyonce. All the single ladies, she going back with Jay-Z. And you, all the single ladies, throw your hands up. Then the other song saying, if he loves you, he put a ring on it. So you got to make up the double-minded things that you're talking about. Should the sister get, quote, a ring put on it? Or should she just throw up her hands talking about, I'm single? Let's be raw and no dishonor intended. I was raised, for those who might know, figured out, or already had understanding of, mainly by my mom, as, you know, in a single household, single parent household. I remember that struggle that the house had. And it's no knock, because she was an excellent parent, excellent and beautiful soul and person. Good provider, and so forth and so on. Helpful assistant, and so forth and so on. For the people, if you look on my Facebook, I pointed out that she pointed me to encyclopedias and Black History magazines, which I think motivated me to be the brother that I am now, told out to the Most High for having her in my life. So brothers and sisters, but the struggle that comes when it's not a unit is not easy on the parent. You can't. These are things that happen in that case. Seeing it growing up. You can't say, oh, the other parent is here, let me go out and see my sister or my brother. You can't. You got to bring your children with you. You can't have co-workers night out. Because then the babysitter's going to charge after 6 p.m. more money. I know what I'm talking about. You understand? You can't, in that particular case, sit there and say, I'll take care of the children tonight. You go out with your family and friends. Do you know what happens in a situation like that when one of the in-laws passes away? She got to bring the children over to the funeral home as well. I know what I'm talking about, family. She got to sit there and have the children involved in everything because there's nobody else to sit there and watch. Because you didn't work the overtime, so you can't pay for the babysitter. Do you see what happens I know what I'm talking about from experience, not to get loud or personal or anything like that. So when you begin to see it, let us as a community, family, brothers and sisters, not say and continuing in that sad manner. You call them millennials. I call them people who want to be with his or her baby mother or father more than the generation that I was born into. The 80s babies growing up, and by the time these millennials were created, they saw the second generation of the broken family. Many of them, like, nah, I can't stand you, but we're going to raise this child co-parent and so forth. I'm going to get your social. I'm going to get your name. I'm going to get your number. I'm going to know who your mates are. I'm going to know this because I need to know about who's wrong with my children. That's the difference. Brothers and sisters, and I say this and being raw, talking about the real book and the real life. It says in Proverbs 31, what does the man in Proverbs 31 says? Proverbs 31 verses 23. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. There's no point in being a hermit. He's known among the peoples. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. If you have an idle mind, they say, for the lack of a better term, is a devil's workshop. Again, a lot of people thinking and contemplating, let's do a robbery of people who don't work. people who don't have that kind of matter. They got too much time on their hands, so they involve themselves in the foolishness that we talked about earlier. You understand? It goes on to say, her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. So in this book, talking about men killing giants, a woman killing Sisera, the army of the people of Hazor, in this book that sits there and says, whosoever withholds his sword from blood is cursed. In this book that sits there and talks about spanking children, in this book that sits there and commend the kings who slew Sodomites, it says what? Her husband also, and he praises her. So you mean in this book that talks about David killing Goliath and his brothers, when you go in Chronicles, David killed 4 giants. Correct me if I'm wrong, not just one. You mean that man ain't a simp? You mean the generation of men that were not there for their children and okay telling other men, oh, you don't have to sit there and be there for her. You don't have to sit there and be there for that lady. Don't be no henpecked. Don't be this. Don't be that. You know what the problem with that is? And it's not to sound carnal or disrespectful. He ain't going to be there when you're in the hospital, brother. And that same character of a man will be the one to try to quote, in layman terms, holler at your sister. You understand? Forsake the foolish and live. If the Most High said that it's not good for man to be alone, I will make him Ezer, a helpmate. I was talking with my lady earlier. The Most High, not forgetting, he said, when I brought you into the land of Israel, not to play historian all the time, the Israelites got into the land of Israel in the time of Joshua. The general date is the 15th century BCE. 1490, 1492, they say that kind of matter happened. 1450, some people date it to that. It's within the span of the 15th century BCE. In Jeremiah, the Most High said, when I brought you to this place, you made it an abomination. Jeremiah, we pointed out on the channel, Morty Yeshaya History Lessons, History of Israel through the eyes of Jeremiah. You did that by then in the 7th century. So in less than 1,000 years, Israel entering the land desecrated it to where it became an abomination. They mistreated the land, which sidebar is in the feminine principle. You understand? So brothers and sisters, how does this tie in with the time allotted? If you have a significant other that you say is a gift from the Most High, like the land of Canaan became a gift for the nation of Israel, and you mistreat it, should not that be brought to remembrance, as it says, bringing iniquity to remembrance? You understand? How is it right to have the land treated badly and the Most High talk about it, that he gave you as a gift, and the person who you say you love and who love you, whoever y'all may be, whether it's known or private, some people keep their relationships private, respect it. How you treat him or her, depending upon your gender, he for her, her for him. You understand? How does she treat him? How does he treat her? The Most High sees that. Just like he sees how Israel was cheating the land. Did you overwork the land and not let it rest on Shabbat? Not to get too personal. My lady helps moderate the channel. I can't expect the each and every single time my spirit go online, Yeshaya. Well, Isha, here, do this. She might be busy. She has her own side of her side of the family. She has her own responsibilities and her own, if I may say, blog to come out in the future, Most High willing. So she's working willingly with her hands, that Proverbs 31 says, and you've been online for 7, 8 years already. Why are you going to be upset saying, well, she ain't here? Who you doing it for, her or Yah? And if it's in the name of Yah, and she's doing something in the name of Yah, then how can you possibly have a problem with it? Because all glory goes to Yah anyway. Now, you see everybody? She's following me. No, you got it twisted. You understand? So brothers and sisters, how we treat each other, and I am not perfect, means a whole lot. How you talk to one another can soothe or agitate a situation. Joseph, after, for the lack of a better term, right, caught a beat down by his brothers. They dealt rough with him, took the jacket off, and all of that. Killed an innocent animal, dipped that in that particular case. You understand? And it still says he spoke to them comfortably. You got to know how to talk to people. How do you address a situation, brothers and sisters? How do you go about in a matter? It may seem redundant, but it's very, very important, if you will. When a brother was frustrated, right, regarding how to deal with the presentations, for those who do know, like there was a problem like with the audio and it was sounding choppy and everything like that. And I'm like, you know what, man? I ain't even gonna be teaching no more, man. Maybe it ain't meant for me to teach. That's why it ain't working. My lady, having the law of kindness upon her tongue, like it says in Proverbs 31, when you read on your, I just read a couple of verses, but you can read on your own. That said the law of kindness is on her tongue. You're a moray. What are you talking about? This is your portion. You're going to let an electronic that you can't replace say that you're not going to continue doing what the Most High God has given you? See, what she said to me was that. What I heard was that, and your mother set you on the path of knowledge for 24 years of your life. And you're going to let a computer, not to talk business, that's not even a Dell, much less a Mac. So you bought it and had one buy it for you for the best quality that you could get up out of it. Stop you from doing quality work? That's what I heard. In addition to that, because the law of kindness being upon the tongue, you don't know how it might resonate in one's spirit, in one's head, in one's mind. Imam Matina, may she rest in peace, told me I'm 18 years old. Yeshaya, or at that time, Emiel, take whatever you can as a source to support your stance and what you're talking about. I'll never forget that. I'm 20 years old. Chief of Chief Naftali, take the blessing that the Most High God has given you and make it work. I'll never forget that. You understand? Much shout to the brother. He's older than me, and so is his wife. I want to say Saw Ne'eman and Gorer Kokavia. They won, for those who are interested, on her platform, on the Zoom, a matter and giving praises to the Most High on Shabbat and other days. When I was on that platform, she said, and we want to bring our brother Yeshaya, who has written books. Now, let me tell you, I think Israelites don't even support the books. Israelites don't even talk about it. Yes, they do, brother. They may not tell you. That doesn't mean your influence is not there, because, again, it's not about you, Ak. It's about the Most High God. So you never know, in doing the work that the Most High has for you, what influence you have. So in wisdom and not feeding upon foolishness, I'm like, hold on, if I'm on the StreamYard, I can sit there and make it connect to another platform through the link, through the email, and I can do the video on the computer and do the audio on the phone, as I've been doing. Because I don't know how to do the video on the phone, and the audio on the computer sounds choppy. Solution, problem solver. There are some who are not problem solvers. They have a problem for every solution. that kind of spirit. That's the foolish that you must forsake and live. You know, to put it in other terms as we close out, people you can't grow around, leave them. People who is intimidated about you and growing, leave them. Don't stifle your light because somebody else wants to stay blinded. What did the Most High tell the prophet? Be not dismayed at them, least I dismay you before them. So whatever mission you got, don't sit there and be like, well, maybe I should or something because, you know, why should I ride a bug? Why should I reinvent the wheel? Why should I? Because if you think it should be done, maybe that's your portion in coming in this. These brothers before I came around wasn't doing it. Maybe it wasn't for them. Maybe the Most High has that for you. How come when I came to the understanding of Israel, things are not established? If you see it's not established, that could be the light for you to be, on the human level, the establisher of it. You understand? Forsake the foolish and live and go in a way of understanding. My lady wrote in a thing in the chat, I'm going to say it like that. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. O children of Israel, this is true. You brought us in the wilderness to kill us. Everybody who said that died in that wilderness. You have to talk, for the lack of a better term, truth to power. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You understand? What does it say, brothers and sisters? This evil generation that came up out of Egypt should not make it in there. You already said we're not going to make it. The spies saying we are grasshoppers in our own sight. You don't have any kind of encouragement. You don't even have any self-esteem. Be strong and of good courage. That's told to Joshua and before him to Moses. Don't be a weakling in any aspect. Take that discipline. Know whatever it is. And what did the Most High say to Cain? Says, why are you wroth and why is your countenance fallen? See, unlike us as humans, we can't do that to the Most High. You trying to read my face. It ain't really like that. I'm telling you in this question that I know your countenance is fallen and you're wrathful. Why are you of wrath and why is your countenance fallen? See, we can't tell the Most High like we might tell one another. You read it wrong. No, you can't fool the Most High like that. I'm seeing your countenance. Why are you having it fallen? Sin crouches at the door, and to you it's his desire. And what did the Most High say? The creator of all things, you shall rule over it. Sin crouches is at the door, but you can rule over it. That's the Most High. The judge is telling you, you got the power within you to do so. So don't sit there and say that, oh, we can't. Don't let another generation hear, we can't do that. You understand? Let's not another generation have to hear, we didn't achieve that. You understand? They feared, and I'm not saying I'm the friends of these politicians, they feared a black president in the 1950s. Did you know that? For those who read and study, and it's not to say those who don't. Don't want to slander or, make anyone feel away. Those who study certain things know when they read that it says they feared a black president coming since the 1950s, and it happened in most of our lifetimes that we see here online. Now, whether you agree with the politics, which I do not, my point nonetheless is, brothers and sisters, we're watched, so be strong and of good courage. Be affluent, be diligent, if you will. Brothers and sisters, when you start talking about getting things established and putting things together and getting things up off the ground, Proverbs 22, verse 29. Proverbs 22, 29. See if thou a man diligent in his business. See if thou a man diligent in his business. He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Do you know Proverbs chapter 22, 22, 29, when it says mean men, it talks about men that are sick in the Hebraic understanding. See if thou a man attending to his business. That means whatever business it is. It says he shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Parents tell their children, you need not chill with him, you need not chill with her. And when you see them 4 or 5 years from now, they're going to be in that same situation that you left him or her in, unless he or she changes. Parents, I've been telling children for that for a minute. And it's true. We are the children of the Most High. If we're told by our Father, Yah, to not go and delve with certain nations, why do we think it's wrong as the parent to say, I don't want my child hanging with him or her? There are certain nations the Most High don't even want us to intermingle with, because you're severed from the peoples. You understand? So let's close out, brothers and sisters, and us knowing our pedigree, knowing our place in this earth, and why, as my lady points out, many nations been oppressed by many nations. But with us, it seems like you wanted it to continue. And it's something that you know about us. We're the only people that have to be called a color because they can't just legally say your name is your no. Black, African American, West Indian, Jamaican, Trinidadian, Bayesian, Panamanian, Afro-Brazilian, to separate it from the Portuguese's children. Shh. You understand? So you're going to have all these said bywords because they know of the light and power that you already have. I pointed out last time that my lady told me that they take melanin and put it inside of machines because of the power it has. The Most High is giving the power in our hands. Take it, Israel. You think our ancestors went through everything they went through? The Willie Lynch syndrome, the Jim Crow, all intertwined in that, the Atlantic slave trade, the lynchings, everything else that done happened with us said as a people. I have a book that has over 5,000 names of people that were lynched in the 18 and 1900s. You think our people went through all of that, as we say in some of our prayer books, so it's called a Siddur in some cases, right? Do it, oh yeah, for the sake of those that went through fire and water for the sanctification of thy name. You think our ancestors as Israelites said, I'm not saying Allah, his name is Yah, and the jihad people came with the sword? You think our people went through that just for us to sit there and renege on what we was about? You think our parents sometimes put up with each other's foolishness? And I don't say that to slander any of our parents, mine or anyone else's. You think our parents went through some of the stuff just for us to drop the ball? You think some of our teachers put a pedigree on us as their students for us to not sit there and carry it? When I had a situation with an Israelite brother, won't mention the name, it got to the point when an elder on three-way had to come and we all talked one day. He said something that rocked me. He said, in a nutshell, is this what we're leaving it to? You all are in your 40s. Well, at the time I was 39, going to 40. Is this it? You can't be serious. The work that we put in, this is what it is? When the Israelite community was being told that the older Israelites didn't study the Kemet thing, so they didn't know how to say, prove Moses existed. Most of them just read only Exodus, and that was content with that. Most of them didn't read the Egyptian records. So when the younger generation Israel delved in those kind of studies, do you think those kind of things was being encouraged for the later ones to drop the ball? No. Do you think, as my lady put in, a doula? There are sisters, not to mention certain places, from the South, that when a sister was giving birth in the North, they went from the South to the North in New York to sit there and find out what to do with the contractions. Took a trip just to find that out. You understand? So, brothers and sisters, be teachable, be likable, and as may he rest in peace, Cohen Peacock pointed out, be good. You know, people like when you repent from anything that you did that was wrong, even in this society, said, wow, you really a changed person for the good. Now, they may not want to change from their bad, but you don't let that be. Your statement should not then be my bad. No, 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 no. Don't let their bad and you content with it cause you to have to turn around and say, my bad. We've been saying my bad for over 30 years. We got to change that. In closing out with the time you allotted, brothers and sisters, let us go to the book of Hosea and close out. Thank you for the time. You could be on any channel, but you chose to be on this, and it's appreciated. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. We're going to read in the book of Hosea, chapter 14, if we will, brothers and sisters. 14 verse 9 of the book of Hosea and close out. Who is wise? And he shall understand these things. Prudent, and he shall know them. For the ways of Yah are right, and the righteous, the just, shall walk in them, but the transgressor shall fall therein. Who is wise? And he shall understand these things. Prudent, and he shall know them. For the ways of the Most High are right, and the just, meaning the righteous, shall walk in them. So we went over some of those ways of the Most High. Walk in it. Forsake the foolish and live and go walk in a way of understanding. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Brothers and sisters, my number, I will put it into the chat, is 908-587-4841. All right. There was an intended presentation for tomorrow regarding James Monroe and slavery, but that will be postponed. Instead of tomorrow, so-called Sunday, it will be done the day after, so-called Monday. All right. So stay tuned to the channel, Moreh Yeshaya History Lessons. We ask you all to comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel, Moreh Yeshaya Torah Lessons, as well as Moreh Yeshaya Old Testament. Depends on what platform you're watching it on. And we hope and pray again that everybody is well and will be better. Thank you for the time. Shalom. We're going to close out in this manner. Thank you for that. Brothers and sisters, as we talk about wisdom and understanding and being teachable, in closing out, my lady asked me about closing out in prayer. Let's do that. Giving honor to the Most High on this day and any other day. We're going to read in Psalms, giving thanks to Yah for the timing that He has allotted us. That's why it says it's not good for man to be alone. I just got some wisdom shared to me about how to present something. Be teachable. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We are going to read in Psalms 113 and giving praises to the Most High. Hallelujah. Praise, O ye servants of Yah. Praise the name of Yah. Blessed be the name of Yah from this time forth and forevermore. From the rising of the sun unto the going down of the same. The name of Yah is to be praised. Yah is high above all nations, and his glory above the heavens. Who is like unto Yahweh Eloheinu, the Lord our God, who dwelleth on high, who looketh down low upon heaven and upon the earth, who raises up the poor out of the dust, who raises up the poor out of the dust, and lifted the needy out of the dunghill, and lifted the needy out of the dunghill. Let's not think the Most High don't know about one situation. that he may settle with princes, even with the princes of his people. He maketh the barren women to keep house, to be a joyful mother of children. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
You go to Psalms 115. Not unto us, O Yah, not unto us, but unto thy name give glory, for thy mercy and for thy truth's sake. Wherefore should a nation say, where is now their Elohim? But our Elohim, our God, is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but see not. Pardon me. They have mouths, but speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them shall be like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. O Yisrael, trust thou in Yah. He is their help in their shield. O house of Aharon, trust you in Yah. He is their help in their shield. Ye that fear Yah, trust in Yah. He is their help in their shield. Yah have been mindful of us. He will bless. He will bless the house of Yisrael. He will bless the house of Aharon. He will bless them that fear Yah, both small and great. Yah shall increase you more and more, you and your children. Yah shall increase you more and more, you and your children. He raises up the poor out of the dust and sitteth the needy from the dunghill. Then we read and give him praise and exaltation to Yah on his deeds, what he does. Yah been mindful of us. He will bless us. Don't ever for a moment shortchange Yah that his mind is not on what you're talking about or dealing with, or what your words are about, because he hears everything, your heart and your words, verbally, where your mind is at. And at a certain time when the Most High makes it manifest that you want, cause you to have to be able to do what you have to do to make something manifest, Yah is always on time. Let's continue. He will bless them that fear Yah, both small and great. Yah shall increase you more and more, you and your children. You are blessed of Yah, which have made heaven and earth. The heaven, even the heavens, are Yah, belongs to the Most High. But the earth hath he given to the children of men. The dead praise not Yah, neither any that go down into silence. But we will bless Yah from this time forth and forevermore. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Lastly, we're going to read Psalm 92 and close out. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yah and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night, upon the instruments of 10 strings and upon the psaltery, upon the harp with the solemn sound. For thou, Yah, hast made me glad through thy work. Amen. I will triumph in the works of your hands. O Yah, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth the fool understand this. When the wicked spring up as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. Psalm 92. But thou enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like that of the wild ox. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on my enemies, and my ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yah shall flourish in the courts of Elohim, our God. He shall still bring forth fruit in old age. He shall be fat and flourishing, to show that Yah is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator, the maker of heaven and earth. I want to say again, Todah Yah, for the wisdom that my lady gave me in saying and close out in prayer, not just your words, but to give the exhortation, even from the scriptures itself, to the Most High. I will triumph in the works of your hands. How great are thy works, O Yah, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man, a man that's the brute, knows not, neither doth the fool understand this. So, brothers and sisters, what you created does not see you physically. Just like we don't see the Most High physically. And as we said earlier, brothers and sisters, when you want your significant other, us being in Isaiah 54, the wife of the Most High, that time with your significant other, the Shabbat being a time between us and the Most High, let's not shortchange that. You understand? With that, giving honor and praise unto Yah, creator, maker of heaven and earth. The Most High gives us other days to sit there and speak highly of each other. Let her praise him on a human level. Let him praise her on a human level. And on Shabbat, the time that he wants from us being who we are to him, let's give our king that. And with that, Shabbat Shalom.